Hello, 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 and good evening to everyone. We are so excited to have you all with us, and welcome to our fourth quarter and final Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan Update, or CNP update. My name is Danielle Crocker, and I am the Associate Director here at Connected Communities. And again, I have to tell you that I am so excited for this last CNP update of the year. Our mission here at Connected Communities is to partner with the Beechwood and Emma residents to break the cycle of poverty through anti-racist community revitalization and equitable resource coordination. And as many of you probably know, we do this through a holistic approach in 4 pillars of development: housing, economic development, health and wellness, and education. And we are very excited to host the progress of the Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan that was revealed 2 years ago. And believe it or not, we're going into the 3rd year of implementation. And we do these updates every quarter to make sure that you, as residents, as stakeholders in the work, as partners, as funders, are up to speed on what's happening in real time against these 55 recommendations across the 4 pillars of development. So tonight, we are going to have my wonderful colleagues share presentations in each of the pillars of community revitalization that's going on right now in the Emma and Beechwood neighborhoods. And I'm super excited. Now, listen, before we get into these pillar-specific updates, I want to let you know, as a reminder, that this is a live event. And so we are very excited about all of you who are tuned in with us, but I want you to help me. I want to know who you are. So if you can go ahead and put your name in the chat. Who are you? Where are you from? Are you a resident? Are you a partner with us? Are you a funder or potential funder? Are you someone who has an interest or a stake in the neighborhood? We want to know who's with us. And while you are doing that, I also want you to think about, of these 4 pillars of development, which one are you most excited to hear about tonight? And I can tell you, you are in for some excitement. So I want to know who's with us. All of our wonderful guests, our friends, our residents, if you can drop your name and where you're from, what pillar are you most excited to learn more about tonight? That would be absolutely awesome. Before I turn it over to our very first presenter, I also want to let you know that we do have Rachel, our data and engagement project manager, who's going to be sharing with you also in the chat tonight. And it's really important. that you participate, because you might just be able to win a gift card for your engagement and participation at the end of this update. So please make sure that you are utilizing the comment section. You can ask questions and the presenters will get back to you with answers to those questions. You can feel free to share your reactions to what's being shared. And we just want you to jump in and have a great time with us tonight. And now I am excited, without further ado, to introduce our very own executive director. Our executive director is going to be sharing our first 2-pillar updates in housing and in economic development. So without further ado, please help me welcome Dr. LaShonda Leslie Smith.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you all tonight. Most of the time I have to stay behind the scenes and I get to watch my colleagues do that and give up all the updates to all of you guys. And so I'm excited to be here to share a few things with you. First up is Beechwood Family Apartments. Many of you who are on with us today are probably the most tuned in and have been staying in touch with us and hearing about Beechwood Family Apartments. Sadly, this project is on pause right now because we did not get the last zoning approvals that we needed. And as you all know, that zoning is, they're responsible for determining whether or not we get the variances for this project. I just want to give a reminder, just in case you've never heard of Beechwood Family Apartments before, you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. This is 25 sites in total. 14 single family homes with 3 and 4 bedrooms. There are 6 duplexes, and then there are 5 multifamily sites, a 4-family, 2 6-families, and 2 8-families. It was the multifamily sites that zoning did not like. They did not like, in particular, the 2 6-families and the 2 8-families. The work that we're doing with Beechwood Family Apartments is pretty inaugural for this area. The city's Rochester 2034 plan is calling for flexible zoning, calling for more affordable housing options like this one. And so we are first up, yet the zoning code has not changed to catch up with the projects that the city would like to do. And so we have to go back to the drawing board, and we're going to need your help. So we'll be coming to you guys to ask for strategies on what you want to see happen, and getting you to come out and speak in favor of this project, to write to the zoning board, to write to the city, so that we can get affordable housing for the folks in our community that need it the most. As you know, Connected Communities housing strategy is multifaceted. So we're not just trying to do affordable housing, reconcentrating poverty. We're trying to provide affordable housing in advance of our neighborhood, the gentrification that is encroaching upon us, displacing people in our community. So if we're going to be a really successful community with revitalization, we need to make sure we secure as much affordability first, so that as the market begins to change, and as you all know, housing prices are going sky high. You used to be able to get a home in this neighborhood for $80,000, and now you're paying $200,000 easily. And so we want to secure affordability. But we'll talk a lot more about that at some of our upcoming CNP updates, as well as at the BNC meeting and other community meetings. If you want us to come to your group and talk with you there, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to do so. Just a few other updates that we have in the area of housing. The parcel by parcel analysis is going to be coming up this spring. Again, for those who are not familiar with the parcel by parcel analysis, we've done this 2 times already. We did it in advance of our comprehensive neighborhood plan. So right now here, we're doing the comprehensive neighborhood plans updates, which we do quarterly. And to create that parcel by parcel or the comprehensive neighborhood plan, particularly the housing section, we did a parcel by parcel analysis where we assessed the vacant lots in the neighborhood, as well as the vacant parcels, the vacant structures in the neighborhood. We talked to the neighbors to the right and to the left across the street. We were able to determine what was the highest and best usage for those particular vacant lots based on resident feedback. And we put that all and compiled it into the comprehensive plan. Well, it's time for us to take a look at that again this year, and we're focusing now on the vacant structures once again. And we're doing that because we've learned about this provision called Article 19A. And that's a law that's been on the books in New York State since the early 70s. And it gives municipalities like the city of Rochester the opportunity to take eminent domain of vacant structures that have been laying dormant for quite some time. We do believe that this tool can be beneficial in increasing home ownership in the neighborhood. So while we're trying to secure some permanent affordability apartment rentals, we are also trying to secure some affordable home ownership, giving people an opportunity to earn equity and help close that racial wealth gap. Also in the area of housing is the Landlord Fund, which will be starting in February of 2023. This will be our second year offering the Landlord Fund. The Landlord Fund is a program that we provide for landlords who are in our geographic location. These are individuals who are generally like smaller landlords, having less than 10 units or so. And we allow for them to apply for up to $5,000 for a single unit and up to $7,000 for multi-units in the same building. Last year, we were able to give out $75,000 for this program. This year, JP Morgan Chase awarded us another fund, and we're able to give out $90,000 in that program. So if you're a landlord and you're interested in learning about this Landlord Fund, please do reach out to Connected Communities, to our new housing project manager, Justin, or to myself, and we will be sure to get you that application and tell you all about the Landlord program. So I'm going to transition now and give you some economic development updates. But before I do that and share with you the breadth and depth of this project that we're doing, I just want to give you a little bit of my background and how we really came to the economic development work that we are going to be doing really soon, which I'm so excited about. So I grew up in poverty, and many of you on here know my story. Me growing up in poverty drove me to the social work profession. At my previous job, YWCP Foundation, which supported Rochester's first and only all-girls public school, my job was to get those girls outside of their 5-block radius, really to experience a world outside of poverty. Now, despite the numerous meaningful experiences my office was able to create for these young women, at the end of the day, we sent them home to neighborhoods that could not sustain the fire that was ignited in them during the school day. That's when I came to realize that if it is indeed the 5-block radius that impacts people's well-being and their overall quality of life, their mental health, why are we not doing something about that instead? So after being recruited to the board of directors as the founding executive director of Connected Communities, that's when all of my lived experiences and professional experiences collided into this beautiful opportunity to take back not just 5 blocks, but to work with residents to take back entire neighborhoods. I truly believe that this project, what we're referring to as the Greenwood Project, is innovative not simply because we're implementing a program or service or meeting only some needs of a multifaceted issue. We are using neighborhoods as an economic ecosystem to break the cycle of poverty. Now, I want to draw your attention to this map here on the screen. I'm not going to be able to have the time to go through all of it, but at the end of all of our presentations, I am going to drop this link in the chat so that you can take advantage of perusing through the map. This map highlights the collective work of Connected Communities across our 4 pillars, and I am going to refer back to it several times throughout this presentation because it does give us a focal point as to where this work is going to be housed in the neighborhood, primarily in the Beechwood neighborhood, for the economic development work that we're doing to start. Now, the Greenwood Project is twofold. We are striving to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty and create wealth by seeding and subsidizing primarily Black-owned businesses. And secondly, by providing investment opportunities for neighborhood residents who could not otherwise have the resources to invest and grow their money. If I have not made this clear already, The focus is exclusively on neighborhood-based entrepreneurs and investors who live in Beechwood and Emma. And this is to demonstrate that neighborhoods can be used as economic ecosystems for breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty. The Greenwood Project will create 4 community-operated neighborhood businesses, which will include a wealth demonstration project, and I'm going to go into detail about that in just a while. The project will provide direct capital injections through investments, loans, and grants to neighborhood businesses and increase activity through our public-private partnerships. Now, we believe that by seeding and subsidizing these BIPOC businesses, BIPOC being Black, Indigenous, people of color, we will reduce the debt for business owners and stimulate growth simultaneously. And we're focusing on removing systemic barriers that hinder BIPOC entrepreneurs' effort to not just start their businesses, but to also sustain them long term. It is through these partnerships with the economic development partners that we're working with, because keep in mind, Connected Communities is not a direct service provider, but we are a resource finder, connector, coordinator. We believe that by connecting our budding entrepreneurs to these economic and business development experts, the neighborhood entrepreneurs, they are not going to have to fumble through ideation and financing and startup. They're going to have everything that they need to get going. And it's our collective partners that will provide this menu of readily accessible support services that will be delivered right at our neighborhood hub. And if you've been to any of our CNPs before, you're familiar with the neighborhood hub, and I'm sure Tasha's going to talk a little bit about that in just a little while as well. So this is going to create some easy access. Now, let me just take a moment to pause here, because I want you all to be aware that we're able to do this project due to a recent acquisition that we are in the process of still finalizing. And this is through the assets that were they previously owned. These assets were going into foreclosure, and Connected Communities reached out to M&T Bank to see if we were able to acquire these properties for the purpose of bringing them back to the community. And I want to acknowledge the fact that there has been a lot of hurt, a lot of distrust as a result of what happened with that organization. Connected Communities is doing some things to put in place legal action to ensure that this does not happen again for our community, regardless of who is at the helm of Connected Communities. We do understand that trust was broken between many nonprofit organizations and residents, and we're doing every single thing that we can to repair that. Simultaneously, we could not stand by and watch these properties go into foreclosure and be bought out by predatory investors who did not have the best interests of our neighborhood at heart. And so that's why we're doing this work. This will not be the last time we're going to have this conversation, but I did want to give that sort of background as to where we're going with all of this. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the prospective businesses that we're hoping to see fill those spaces. And please hear me when I say prospective businesses. Now, many of these business concepts have come out of deep community engagement, but we're not pausing here. These are just ideas that we have right now based on feedback that we've gotten from residents, but an incredible amount of more engagement is going to happen to ensure that not only are these the right businesses, but we have the right entrepreneurs, and that our residents want these services and resources and will patronize these businesses. Without that, we're setting the businesses up for failure, and we definitely don't want to do that. So the first prospective business is this community market, a reimagined community market. The market will provide access to fresh fruits and vegetables while creating a sense of community and belonging. You may see right now in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, a design charrette of the outdoor space that is behind this market. And there may be residents on this Zoom with us right now who participated in those design charrettes to determine what it is that you wanted to see on that space. Connected Communities is not coming in to start things from scratch. We really are looking at what has already been done, listening to the voices of residents, reviewing all of the previous reports, and we're trying to make sure that we're honoring the voices of residents and putting those things into practice. So the Greenwood project itself was developed with design principles at its core, empowering the community and centering the voices of those impacted most by this design process. The project is a true reflection of the outcomes that residents said that they want to see through our comp plan process. Now, the second prospective business is a laundromat. And we are really excited about the possibility of a laundromat because we don't currently have one in our neighborhood. The previous one that we had was not functioning very well. So the commercial property that we're looking at targeting for this project is right next door to the market. If you're looking at the map here, it's right at the corner. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse or not. So the market is here and the prospective laundromat is here. And just across the street here is the work share space that we are going to have. Now, work share space, for those of you who are not familiar, is a space where various businesses, nonprofits can co-locate. They can lease an office at a very low rate and then maximize collaboration in the neighborhood. That space will also be used for community gatherings, so residents can rent it out at no cost whatsoever to people who live in the neighborhood and hold community meetings, community discussions there in that space. And we believe the co-location of all of these resources here will provide increased traffic as well as increased profit. So we're really excited about the possibility of that. The next prospective business type is a neighborhood gym. And this really aligns with our health and wellness pillar and all of what we want to see with folks in the neighborhood having access to a healthy gym space at very low cost. Now, there's a coffee shop, as many of you may know, right across the street. And of course, it generates an incredible amount of traffic. And we are all aware that coffee shops can be early indicators of gentrification, but we know that New City Cafe is owned and operated by 441 Ministries, and all of the employees live in the neighborhood. They have a commitment to the neighborhood in a way that many businesses do not. And this is the same sort of commitment we want to borrow for them and cultivate in our neighborhood entrepreneurs, our budding entrepreneurs. And you may also be aware just behind this proposed gym is a coffee roastery also owned by 441 Ministries. Last year, Connected Communities invested $25,000 into the coffee roastery. Now that's just an example, one example of the kind of cash infusion that the Greenwood project will provide to support neighborhood businesses. And then of course, if the prospective business that goes in there is a neighborhood gym, we would ensure that there are affordable monthly memberships, and this will serve as a social enterprise that supports the goals of our health and wellness pillar. Now, the fourth and final prospective business is this wealth demonstration project that I mentioned to you before. Now, the hope is that we are closing the racial wealth gap with all of this work. We know that sometimes the racial wealth gap can be closed through building equity in a home, but it can also be closed by building equity in a commercial office space. So as we are working and walking alongside with all of these budding entrepreneurs and prospective business owners, we're hoping to see one business, the business that will be housed in this space, demonstrate profitability and growth in years 1 to 3. And after which we will sell that business to the business owner, giving that business owner the opportunity to earn equity. Equity is the wealth gap closer. For all businesses, a community benefits agreement will be established to ensure that these businesses are benefiting the community. We're at this place in our economic development and revitalization efforts where we need to ensure that the benefits of any development are circling or cycling back to the residents that live in this neighborhood. Far too often, we have profitable businesses and people who don't live in our community. And that's not altogether a bad thing, except when those businesses don't necessarily prioritize the needs of the neighborhood. So with the economic development pillar, housing, health and wellness, the education piece, we're really trying to ensure that people can live, work, and play safely in this neighborhood. So back to the community benefits agreement. For those of you who don't know, this is a legal document that outlines the expectations of all parties, the community, the developer, connected communities, the nonprofit that's involved, to make sure that there is long-term benefit to the community and not just to one individual. Again, going back to the distrust that has been developed in this community in the last few years, we want to put parameters in place to ensure that regardless of who's leading connected communities, the work of connected communities is going to ultimately benefit the people who live in this neighborhood. So with the prospective business type, with the wealth demonstration project, the community benefits agreement for that particular business will also include a right of first refusal. That means that when this business owner is super successful, and let's say they're operating their business in this space, which is the old Speedy Slice on Webster Avenue, for 5-10 years, they're so successful, they've outgrown the space, they need to purchase another building, and they want to sell this building and take the equity that they have rightfully earned in this building and reinvest it into their next business or whatever they want to reinvest it into. That's fine. But we're saying sell it back to connected communities. And when you sell it back to connected communities, we will then be able to put the next BIPOC business owner in that space. And then that process will continue to cycle itself through. And again, for those who may not be familiar with Greenwood, you may be saying to yourself, where did that term, the Greenwood Project, come from? Well, this is really based on the Greenwood community of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and many of you may be familiar with Black Wall Street. It said, depending on what research you read, that dollars changed hands anywhere from 19 to 30 times in the Greenwood community. We are a community that has been said to be resource rich and results poor. And I really think that is attributed to the fact that we have a lot of resources that are poured into our communities that have a lot of opportunity, but those dollars are going into staff, into other equipment and things like that, and they cycle right out of our neighborhood at the end of each workday. We are trying to create a process where neighborhoods can be used as economic ecosystems to cycle dollars within the neighborhood, to benefit the people who live in the neighborhood, to grow that neighborhood. So that's what the Greenwood Project is really all about. Now, we know that not everybody is going to want to start a business. Not everybody has the temperament for that, the desire, or is in a place where they can do that. So Connected Communities is looking to establish a community investment trust as part of the Greenwood Project. And this will allow every family to generate wealth. The goal is to create a CIT to enable residents to buy affordable shares in our local commercial properties that we just shared with you. This investment would only require a monthly payment of $10 to $100, and that is the max because no one person should have more say in the process than the other. Over time, these investors are going to build equity in that property and earn increasingly higher dividends. Beyond providing an opportunity for safe, affordable investments, we want to educate the investors on how their money is growing through free financial education. And that way they can take what they're learning to the general market and make even more money if they would like to. The concept of CIT started in Portland, Oregon. So let's take a look at a video that will share a little bit more about it with us.
My name is Glendy. I live in Southeast Portland, and currently I living in an apartment. So obviously I'm not a homeowner. And Southeast Portland is an area that most of the family, their income is either barely enough to pay their bill, or some don't even have enough.
We've seen Portland gentrify. Many places in the country have gentrified. Gentrification isn't necessarily a bad thing. It reflects an influx of people. It reflects a positive economic circumstance that has driven prices up. The challenge, of course, is that it puts some people on the margins. It pushes people out of neighborhoods because they can't afford to rent there. They can't afford to live there.
Mercy Corps Northwest really is about helping people become empowered to get out of the cycle of poverty.
So we've devised a mechanism, an investment tool, an investment path for people to go from inaction to action at an acceptable dollar point.
It's the first community investment trust that we know of in the country. The Community Investment Trust will give members of the community that we're reaching out to an opportunity to invest a certain amount of money every month in the commercial property that's been purchased.
We own a building for the Community Investment Trust. It's called Plaza 122. It's 29,000 square feet. It's an office building that houses nonprofits and for-profit businesses. It's on a busy, visible street. It's at the hub of the neighborhood. People will have the opportunity to invest monthly at $10, $25, $50, or $100, and no more. That's the cap. They'll buy in. We have equity that we put into the building, and the investors in the neighborhood will, over roughly 3 years, buy out our equity, then it's their building. The investors can say, that's my building, I own that. Those businesses that are in that building are businesses that I will go support, because when they succeed, I succeed. So it creates a mutually reinforcing relationship in a neighborhood where the tenants do better, the investors do better, and we hope the neighborhood will do better because people own a stake in the outcomes that everybody's seeking.
I'm really excited about the CIT. I'm also excited that Connected Communities will be working with JP Morgan Chase and working directly with Mercy Corp, the group that was featured in the video that you just saw, to implement it. So us working with a group like JP Morgan and Mercy Corp is really going to help us propel this forward and be of benefit to our neighborhood. I personally believe the Greenwood Project is radical and it's innovative, and it can change how economists and even local governments see and utilize neighborhoods to address some of our country's most challenging problems related to economic inequality. And I am more excited that we all get a front row seat to watch it all happen right in Beechwood and Emma. So thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be in the chat in just a little while. If you have any other questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Kara, for an educational update.
Thank you, Dr. Leslie Smith. Hello, my name is Kara Brown, and I'm the Education Project Manager at Connected Communities. Today, I'm here to share with you some of my journey thus far, connecting with the Beechwood and Emma residents and collaborating with early childhood facilities, 33 School, and Eastside administrators, educators, and families. I will also be sharing some of our developing relationships with community partners that support the community schools that we value in this neighborhood. When it comes to education, Connected Communities believes that it starts in the beginning of a child's academic journey, the home. This is why we promote the Cradle to Career in Education model while partnering with early childhood facilities, School 33, and Eastside Upper and Lower School. Our goal in the education pillar is to promote these schools as amazing community schooling options for the residents of the Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods. We are also equally invested in focusing on connecting with families in an effort to make every family engagement opportunity family-centered. What we find is that family engagement is the process used to build genuine relationships with families. Relationships with families support overall family well-being and children's healthy development. And when families are engaged, partnerships are created that have a common focus helping children grow. We do this in many ways. As you can see, we get to know the community we serve, We're very intentional with community resources provided in creating equity and resource accessibility. And we also identify opportunities for families to work with community partners, school services, and even connected communities as an organization. So one of our projects that we did this year that I'm so happy to report on is the Summer Neighborhood Canvassing Project, or the SNEC project for short. The SNEC project focused on engaging with the Beechwood and Emma families of enrolled students at School 33 and East High, and providing them with information relating to their child's community school, in addition to information about connected communities as a community partner. As you can see, we managed to reach 299 homes through direct contact, door hangers, community school flyers, and community education pillar brochures from connected communities. To get this work done, we had to have partners in service. We had 16 SNEC volunteers, which are educators, community organizers, clergy members, and student alumni that partnered in service with us. And they did this through canvassing at families' homes. We had digital promotion partners where School 33 did robocalls and marketing. And we also were able to use their space to host our volunteer training. And then we also had the back to school event hosted at School 33. There were 156 students that actually participated in this school back to school event, where they received book bags filled with school supplies, free haircuts, gift cards to purchase hair products, hygiene products, dental exams, free produce, and community resources. One thing that is really amazing is that 51 of those families were Beechwood and Emma residents, and they agreed to allow us to contact them in the future and inform them about future family engagement events. And that's what we do. They get contacted on a monthly basis. So that's how we continue to connect with them. Here are some slides from our back to school event. I love to share these pictures because these are some of our community partners in service. In the first slide, we see Pastor Bill Gibbons, East High Community Coordinator Nicole Gibbons, and Urban League of Rochester's Divisional Development Director, John Compton. In the middle, you can see our PTA representative, Dory Young, in front of the book bags we gave out, and School 33 educator, Carmen Lopez, who also provided food, because we also had food that we distributed at the SNEC event for some of our community members. Connecting with the families that we serve is also important for many reasons. Through community engagement, we gain important insight on the types of barriers they may be facing, successes that they like to share, programming that they like to participate in, and services that would ultimately assist their families while their child is enrolled in community schools. One way that we gather this information is through the Connected Communities Family Engagement Survey. This is a brief survey that collects demographic information, community engagement interest in areas of improvement for the school from the families that we encounter. These families we encounter in the community, or they also have contact with their community coordinators and the family coordinators in the schools that we support. As you can see, there were 65 families that completed the survey, and this occurred between April 2022 and November 2022. And out of those 65, 53 were completed between September 2022 and November 2022, and 38 of those surveys were actually completed in person. So we had direct contact with families. This means that families are generally open to answering questions regarding their child's education and are also invested and interested in learning more about educational resources. Out of these 65 families, we had 15 families from East High that resided in the Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods, 17 families from School 33 that resided in the Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods, and a total of 891 families received the survey because we've partnered with the community school coordinators and family facilitators to promote this survey and distribute it to all of the families in the schools. So we're really excited about that. And so here we have some of our feedback. On the Connected Communities Family Engagement Survey, we asked a question that gives us better perspective on how how the School 33 and Eastside families feel about their child's academic facility and what services they'd like to receive from Connected Communities as a community partner. We asked our families, if you had a magic wand, you could wave it across the school and change anything about your student's school, what would it be? If you look at some of the feedback, you can see the results. And they say open communication, access to academic-based resources, and family engagement are all being expressed. And I want to just say that we hear and see our Beechwood and Emma families and feedback, and it's our goal to continue to support the community schools that we work with intentionally, meaning we'll have family-focused partnerships. I also want to mention that families that complete the family engagement survey and who consent to future contact receive a follow-up email with links that allow them to view their child's school newsletter, sign up for the community engagement team at School 33, and they also receive monthly community resource notifications from Connected Communities. Our partners, our community partnerships. This year, we are excited to say that we've been developing community partnerships that address wellness and education. Our partnership with FoodLink has allowed us to provide 50 families with free produce during our snack project with School 33. They're also the main sponsor behind the School 33 and Eastside food cupboards, which are open to families of students. Connect Communities recently partnered with Eastside to pack and distribute Thanksgiving Day baskets to families, and we'll also be partnering with them for Christmas as well. We also have the Rochester Imagination Library and Matt present, who is the founder. And Matt has provided resources to register families for this literacy program that mails culturally relative and age-appropriate books to children ages 0 to 5 in Rochester, New York. The Rochester Imagination Library was also featured at Connected Communities Fall Extravaganza and is always highlighted whenever we do education pillar-related family engagement events. I also want to mention WXXI and PBS Kids and Kara Rager, who's also partnered with Connected Communities on several occasions, including our Fall Extravaganza, the Back to School event for School 33, and an upcoming family learning group that will be available to School 33 families. And last but not least on this page we have is the Rochester Education Fellowship that's invested in educating RCSD families on their options when selecting an ideal school for their students. And we're going to be partnering with Shanae Lee, who is a Rochester Education Fellow, to promote the We Are Ready program. We're actually going to be having a program tonight, which I'm really excited about. And we will be working with families at the community schools we're serving to gain insight on how they can easily identify the best schooling options for their children. And so when we think of our community partners in education, the 2 community schools that we serve in the Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods have to be highlighted. As you can see, we have 2 flyers, 1-pagers that we use in an effort to promote these amazing schools as elementary and secondary schooling options. And we provide these and continue to provide these 1-pagers. And whenever we are promoting in the community, whenever we have family engagement events, and we also have the QR code on the bottom, which allows families to have access to our parent engagement survey that we mentioned earlier, so they can always give their insight. And next, we have some of our community partners highlighted. Again, we have WXXI, we have the Center for Youth, who are actually a community partner located directly inside of East High School and School 33. We have Rochester Regional Health, who came to provide health services to the students and resources when we had our back to school event. And we have our lead RA, Ms. Tammy Resblick, who represented for Connected Communities at the School 33 open house with the tabling event and had her table at our Connected Communities table, excuse me. So what's up next? I'm so excited to share with you that we have a lot of really great things coming up next. December 22nd, we have the School 33 Community Engagement Team meeting. We also have a January family engagement event, which is going to be focused on wellness, and that's going to be sponsored by the Education Pillar. And it's going to be located at the Sully Library. In February, we have some really great things. The first thing we have is the Eastside Future Ready program, which is an employment-based program that we're going to be hosting with East High. And we're also going to be inviting some of our students to identify employment opportunities and some of our student alumni. And then last but not least, we have the Black Excellence Celebration with Connected Communities, where we will be celebrating, Black excellence in the Monroe County and Rochester area, Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods throughout the whole month of February. So I just thank you for taking the time to share these updates with me. And now I'd like to welcome my colleagues to share our health and wellness pillar updates.
Hello, everyone. My name is Atasha Walker, and I am the Neighborhood Hub Director here at Connected Communities. I know that I introduced the Neighborhood Hub on the last CNP update, but I still get this question: what is the Neighborhood Hub?
Uh, Connected Communities started a neighborhood hub as a response from one of the recommendations from the neighborhood plan. The hub serves as a front door to residents to access free services, free programs and workshops from our partners, and to overall just get connected to the resources available to them. Our hub also offers some pretty cool features, such as a free business center needs. So that's your printing, the Wi-Fi, computer access. We have an on-site meeting space for community groups. And I'm so happy to share that our hub now offers free notary services right here in the Beechwood community and for Emma residents as well. So how cool is that? Where did we start? So our hub actually launched programming over the summer with a workshop presented by one of our partners, Habitat for Humanity, called Home Buying 101. That is where we introduced the Habitat home buying process to residents who were interested in starting the home ownership journey. We also hosted a fun evening event of line dancing with Lady P, where we invited residents out to embrace that body positivity with dancing, fun, movement, and overall just promoting health and wellness. In September, we launched our Snack and Chat series that offered a series of workshops hosted by community partners. We kicked it off with a financial wellness workshop hosted by Key Bank. We then had a social media literacy workshop hosted by the Center for Youth. And that was for our residents who are parents or caregivers, just so they can get a little bit more access and know about what's in their youth's phones. We all need to know that information. We then had Caring Conversations by the City of Rochester, and that was helping parents and caregivers gain comfort with having sensitive conversations and how to have those conversations in a healthy way. We then ended it with a mindfulness and meditation workshop hosted by Breathe Deep, because who doesn't need help with a little bit of self-care? Throughout the summer and the fall, we did much continuous engagement at our pop-up events and various community events. And what did we learn? We learned that residents are vying for that sense of community, that sense of connectedness. So in the fall, we hosted a game night event for parents of East High and 33 School, where we invited them out to learn about the feeder pattern between the schools, but to also just have fun, play games, and to get to know fellow families in the neighborhood. We hosted a fall mixer where residents can come out and get to know each other, talk, mingle, and begin building relationships and begin to break down some of that stop sign to stop sign silo that you see. So where are we now? Our hub was off to a busy start, but we are still yet growing. We are working to still build and strengthen our relationship with our partners while planning impactful programming and still remaining customer focused. We are mindful that our hub serves you, the residents of Beechwood and Emma, and we value continuous feedback, and the voice of the residents always matters. And one of the ways that we stay plugged in to get the voice of the residents is through our awesome Resident Ambassador program. And here to talk more about the RA program is the lead resident ambassador herself, Ms. Tammy Westbrook. Take it away, Tammy.
Thank you, Tasha. Hi, everyone. It's me, Tammy Westbrook, the lead resident ambassador, and I have been working with Connected Communities for over 3 years. But I'm sure you all remember me from the years of the CNP updates and working around in the community. But before I jump too far in, let me tell you more about the Resident Ambassador Program and what we do. The Resident Ambassador Program, or you will most likely hear us calling ourselves RAs, it's an employment opportunity for residents of Beechwood and Emma who are passionate about leading change, are invested in this community, seeking personal and professional development. As the lead resident ambassador, I work to onboard and train new RAs. I am so proud to introduce the newest members of our team, Brianna Middleton, and Sheila Carpenter. Tell us a little bit about your stories, ladies.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna. I am really excited to be here today. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why I became an RA. So I am a Rochester native and I even graduated, well, I'm an alum of 33 School. So I've been around the neighborhood for a very long time. But what really inspired me to become an RA was honestly my passion for promoting equity, diversity, and inclusion, and being the change that I wanted to see in my community. So Connect the Communities really did give me an amazing opportunity to do exactly that. And I'm really excited to be able to work on some economic development for the community, just to see some more wealth building and for our residents and for the families here. And I'm also excited for all of the community health and wellness things that we have in store. So some of the more notable things that I've been doing, even though it's only been about 2 months since we've been here, would probably be going to City Hall to petition for the affordable housing and mixed income housing in the Beechwood neighborhood. And during our first week of orientation, Tasha, our hub director, and Sheila and I went on a neighborhood tour, and we got to learn more about a lot of the neighborhood gems in the area. So it was really informative and really fun. But now I'll pass it on to Sheila so she can share more about herself and what she's interested in being an RA.
Thanks, Brianna. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheila Carpenter. I'm excited to be one of the new RAs. I'm a Rochester native, a Beechwood homeowner, and a homeschooling mom of 6 beautiful kids. How did I become a resident ambassador? Well, I saw the lawn signs around the neighborhood on my morning walks. And I had met Rachel when she came to my door last spring as part of the neighborhood impact survey. So I reached out to her and soon knew that this was the right fit for our family. Especially after the increased violence over the last year or two here in Beechwood, I wanted to be more involved and part of the solution. This position is the perfect opportunity to make a difference while still being flexible enough to be able to successfully homeschool my kids. I'm hoping to learn how to be a more effective agent of change in our neighborhood and to become much more familiar with all the resources available to my neighbors and my friends. Brianna and I have only been here for about 2 months, as she said, but we've already done so much. A couple of highlights include being able to participate in a Zoom meeting with Senator Sabra Brook to discuss neighborhood safety in Beechwood and Emma, and we're looking forward to having part 2 of this conversation soon. I also participated in the resource fair that was held at the Ryan Center at the end of October. There were many organizations that came together to share about health, literacy, housing, and emergency services. And now I'd like to welcome Tammy back with some more updates.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, let's talk about some events we partnered with some neighborhood organizations in the community. We have the Beechwood Neighborhood Coalition, and they have a community meeting the first Thursday of every month. Rachel Betts, in her new role as Data and Engagement Project Manager, presented on the RPD Crime Portal in October. Councilmember Marion Lupien and her colleague have restarted Community Block Club, where neighbors can come together to learn about resources, build relationships, and address issues that concern them. I attended the first 2 meetings where we focused on safety. Look out for more information and how you can join the Block Club or become a captain this coming spring. We had 7 pop-ups this summer. 3 of them we partnered with Rec on the Move and even had a cookout on the last day. We also partnered with 441 Ministries and attended their community garden cookout. We had a total of 126 participants and many great conversations connecting residents to resources. And based on feedback from residents and their desire to clean up the neighborhood, we attempted to launch Beauty on the Block, but weather conditions didn't allow it to be completed. But we intend to restart this initiative in 2023. So look for that to come and vote for your block to be cleaned up. Fall Extravaganza. It's an annual event that is one of the biggest events that Connected Communities organizes. It gets bigger and better every year. This year, 287 people attended, of which 58% were residents. We had delicious food trucks, pumpkin painting, music, line dancing, and other activities for the community. There were 23 vendors, including Dress for Success, the Tool Library, Trillium Health, U of R, Imagination Librarian, and even a live broadcast from WDKX. There was over 30 people who received COVID vaccinations, and the community was so happy to have all these resources right in their neighborhood. Then we had our Latin explosion. This was our first ever Hispanic Heritage Month celebration held at the East High Collaboratorium. We had 33 people attend. There was free Latin dance classes, local Latin heritage trivia, and food from the rich Spanish culture. While it was a busy year, we are doing much planning now to be even more impactful in 2023. Thank you for listening to our RA updates. We look forward to seeing you in the community as we hit the ground running in 2023. And when you see our new RAs out and about, stop and say hi and find out what they have coming up. And now I would like to welcome back Jan for our final updates and wrap up. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. And wow, thank you to everyone. Well, friends, guess what? Our CNP updates for the fourth quarter of 2022 are officially over, but I want to encourage you to hang around for just a few more minutes as I share with you the final updates. And in a few minutes, I will announce our gift card winner. You've heard a lot tonight. And for those of you who are still here with us, can you please just give a nice warm thank you to all of our presenters who shared these updates with us tonight? And while you are doing that, I'm going to take the time to give some special thank yous tonight, starting with our executive director, Dr. LaShundy Leslie Smith. We want to thank you so much for leading the organization and the work through vision, integrity, persistence, through excellence. We thank you and we appreciate your strong and courageous leadership. I also saw a few of our partners, our wonderful friends in this work. We want to collectively say thank you to all of the partners in this community revitalization effort. Thank you for investing your time, your efforts, and your resources into the work of development in the Beechwood and Emma neighborhoods. And I think most importantly, we want to thank all of the residents who are here and those who could not be here for whatever the reason. Thank you so much for your own vision of a wonderful and bright neighborhood and family and community. Thank you for partnering with us, for trusting us and working with us to implement these recommendations across all of the pillars of connected communities and the neighborhood as a whole. We have board members here. We have partners from RTS. We have partners from the city, from the neighborhood Office of Neighborhood Safety. We have partners from near and far. And we just want to say we appreciate all that you are doing and will continue to do. As you know, community engagement is central to the work of Connected Communities. As we saw elevated even through the chat and engagement there, that our goal is to make sure that you have an opportunity and an avenue to hold us accountable in leading this work. And so we are looking forward to more comprehensive neighborhood plan updates and the opportunity for more residents and partners in the work to be engaged. And speaking of engagement, I think my partner Rachel is ready. I would like to announce our winner for the gift card. So we asked you earlier to make sure that you interacted with us in the chat because we would have an opportunity. And we decided that we were going to give a gift card to our guest who asked the first question of the night, according to our records. And that person is Ryan Peck. Ryan, congratulations. And thank you so very much for participating, for being here with us tonight. And my understanding is Ryan is a resident in the Beechwood neighborhood. So Ryan, Rachel will be in touch with you so that you can collect your gift card. And thank you again for your participation. Before you log off, we do want you to save the date because we are not done doing this amazing work. And in 2023, we're moving our CNP updates in person. So we are very excited about the opportunity of updating you in March for the first quarter of next year so that you can learn about the progress across these 55 recommendations in real time again. So until then, everyone take care, have a wonderful holiday season, and we will see you all very soon. Thank you.